Wednesday, June 15th, 2022. Today on the Daily Review, we discuss a big Indian comedy from Raj Kumar Hirani. That's right. It's Three Idiots with your host, me, one idiot, Professor Joe LaRocca. That's right. It's India Cinema Classic from 2009. Three Idiots. Oh my God. Here we go. Me just wrecking Indian names here. Starring Amir Khan, Kareena Kapoor, R. Madhavan, Sarman Jovi. Okay, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm just not gonna. I'm sorry. I can't do them. Someone's got to say them to me, and then I'll know. Anyway, this is a highly recommended movie. When I started watching these Indian cinema movies, this is the one that came up a lot, and it is right there on good old Netflix, so you can check it out. Huge, epic, almost 3-hour comedy with some drama in it. I'll get right to it. I thought it was excellent, incredibly enjoyable for a 3-hour comedy. I'm surprised they haven't done like an American remake. In some ways, it does feel like an American comedy. I think it's pulling from that stuff a little bit. It could easily be like a Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson type thing. But I'm not saying that that's where it comes from. But it would translate well. It reminds me a bit of like a Judd Apatow movie because it's funny and heartfelt and nostalgic and sentimental, and then also has like a philosophy going on, albeit like kind of a philosophy 101 kind of thing. It's still very, very, very enjoyable and incredibly crowd pleasing. It's like it reminds me in some ways a little bit. Now people aren't going to agree with this, but it's a little bit like Forrest Gump. If Gump was aware of his like zenness, if he realized that he was like kind of dictating a lot of the things instead of just bumbling through them because of his like laid back attitude about things, which is in actuality his confusion about things. But anyway, what the story is two guys, Farah and Raju are looking for their buddy Rancho from engineering school, and it's present day, and then they get a note, and they're like, we found him. So they're on a mission with their buddy, the Silencer, who's not really their buddy. It was kind of like that guy in college who always has got to do everything best, and it's like a little brown nose, little baby. He's doing that, and he was like, I lied to you guys. I got you guys to come here just to prove how much more successful I am because of that bet we made. And then so they start like recounting their college days, and there's all sorts of funny stories that, here's the thing with comedy. Sometimes it can not do a very good job of traveling. You know what I mean? Like it usually limits some to the point where some movies and shows play better on the East Coast of America than the West Coast of America. Like literally that kind of cultural differences, or in the North versus the South. So like if that can happen even within America, then it definitely happens when you transfer to a different country. There's a lot of French comedies that I've watched where I sometimes I'm like, I don't know where the joke is in that, and it's just a cultural thing that I didn't get. So I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to get this. You know what I mean? Like there'd be jokes where I'd be like, well, I don't get what that means. But no, all of this is completely universal. It's like, I don't know. And then the songs add so much to it because it just like proves how talented everybody is, There's the All Is Well, that bathroom song. That is the fucking most fun thing I've ever seen. It's like a doo-wop group if they got to make a modern music video, and they're like covered in soap and stuff. So that goes into a huge contrast. I won't do any of the spoils, but there's like this drone reveal shot at about the hour mark that literally made me gasp out loud. I had no idea the movie was going to go in certain places that it goes, and it's great for doing that, and it's the thing that elevates the movie from just being like kind of like a boner comedy romp, even though it's not inappropriate or anything like that. But, it's just like boys are being idiots, like, oh, look at their college days. It's so silly or whatever. But there's this underlying story really about pressure, about the pressure, academic pressure we put on students. And it seems pretty bad in India. And let me tell you, I know it exists in the United States. I see it with my students all the time. I remember feeling it myself. I remember seeing it through my brother, especially, how much importance and stress is put on academic achievements, and how that has broken the machine of education, because nobody does it because they love it. They do it out of fear, and they do it out of like trying to beat the system, which is actually an incredibly deep and smart observation that I bet somebody involved with this script was an educator and saw this kind of thing that's happened, because it is different, because of kids are better at getting good grades than they are at learning, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? It's like they figured out how to, because I remember even I did it. I took, in high school, I took a class called HTML, which was like this very early web design class that they made it an honors class just to keep the riffraff out, and I took 2 semesters of it, and it was just an instant A, which was that's just adding a 4.5 into your thing, so I always, you know what I mean, like, so you can take classes, because since it was an honors, you get the bonus points, and like, you know what I mean? And that's not about learning necessarily. That's about gaming the system. And things like the SATs, which is a standardized test in the United States, where it's like, it's very, very socioeconomically geared because of what is the contents of the test, and the fact that in middle class and upper class communities, it's very popular to get a coach to help you learn it. And it's not even necessarily like learn how to take the SATs. And again, it's not about the contents of the SATs. It's about how to take the SATs. The first time I took it, I didn't do very well. Took it again, I didn't do very well. So then I took 10 real SATs every Sunday at home with my dad timing me, just to get used to taking them. And then when I took it the 13th time, I did fine because I was so used to taking it. And I knew, like, I'm like, oh, this is that kind of question that's this type of trick, which is just from me, having a father who would force him to do, like, keep him to it, and being able to buy that $50 book or whatever. And like, even just being conscious that that book existed, and having my, I don't know, it's good. It's some good stuff there. But yeah, this is all about the whole education system, but it's not didactic at all. It's super fun the whole time. What are BP pills? Through context, I get that they're like probably for stomach indigestion, but it's like, oh, you got my father popping BP pills because of you. Somebody in the comments, let me know what that is. Yeah, so the movie's got everything. It's got a speech with a classic speech in front of the school where somebody does a word replacement on the exam, so he's just saying screwed the whole time, but he doesn't realize it because he thinks it's in like a very formal version of Hindi, I guess. It's great. It's very like challenge the system, challenge everything, in a very Dead Poet Society kind of way. Anyway, it's great. It's so creative. Sometimes it goes to animation. Sometimes it goes to like black and white. Sometimes it does when it's in music videos. It's doing that kind of fast-paced stuff. It also has acoustic songs. This is the first Indian cinema movie that I've watched where the music feels very. It's different. It's different. Some of them are more of the dance songs, but there's a couple of like very acoustic, which is gives a very collegiate vibe. I don't know why, and a very like more personal vibe. Which I think is smart for such a big movie. And it's big in the fact that it's long and it spans like a decade, because it's flashbacks and stuff. The actors do a great job of like being young and old too. I think it's great, even though they're not super old. And then the character, this is like such a universal character. It's like the crusty dean, the guy who runs the school. They call the virus, and he took like this. I want you to go to the bathroom and then the kitchen thing, something like that, And so instantly you're like, that guy's a dumbass, like that. You don't need to translate that. We know that guy is supposed to be a jerk. Not because he has a list, but just because, the way he acts. So, anyway, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I predicted one of the twists I totally predicted. Massive crowd pleasing ending. The power of friendship. Rancho basically invents Montessori schools. Those are the things I wrote. The second half of the movie becomes like a mystery. I don't know. I just thought it was cool, man. The things there's a few parts where it is, like I was saying, philosophy 101. Like someone squeezes the toothpaste all the way out, and they're like, get it back in. Or like, the astronauts spend billions of dollars to make a pen that writes anti-gravity, and then someone's like, well, why didn't they use a pencil? It's like, yeah, all right, these are like day one of a philosophy class, but that's okay. It all works out well. That speech thing happened to me once. As I've mentioned, I took Italian in high school. In my senior year, we had to write children's books. And I wrote this, but I copied this book. You could copy a book or whatever. I copied this book about a farmer who has a turtle and a dog, and the turtle is too old to follow the farmer around and is getting jealous, and the farmer ends up building him a little box with wheels so that the dog can pull him around. So there's a little bit more to the story. But the word that I didn't know was wheels, so I asked my friend Gio Scapini, who was in the class, who spoke fluent Italian, was just taking it again to game the system and get A's because he grew up there. I was like, hey man, can you just translate these two sentences, because I think I'm using the word wheel wrong because it's not coming out right or whatever, because he was talking about putting wheels on the box or whatever. And so he translated it, and then what you do, you illustrate the book, you make the whole children's book or whatever, and then you get up in front of the class and you read it or whatever. This is after a week or two, and I started reading out loud, and one student who was a very, very good Italian student, and Gio and my teacher just burst out laughing. And I was like, what? And I just kept reading, and he had replaced the word wheels with balls, like testicles. So I was just being like, the turtle loved his new testicles. He rode around the farm all day on his testicles, and he was never happier. The farmer used good nails to attach the testicles to his box. It was fucking classic. It was like this movie. And then I realized, and they're like, hey, did you by any chance have Gio help you? And Gio's face is all red, and tears streaming down his face. I was like, that was genius. Anyway, okay. Sorry, went a bit long. Odie, what are you doing over there? You're not even in the camera. My bed's not made. I look crazy. It's okay though. All is well. All is well. All is well. Okay, I give this an A-, baby. I thought this was remarkably good. I mean, this is an epic comedy, and it works, and travels the butt. A hard. It's easy for action to travel, A fucking Transformer movie goes around 16 times before a comedy gets its pants on, I forget who said that. I think it was Theodore Roosevelt. Okay, anyway, I will talk to you tomorrow. I'm going to watch more movies by this guy. People told me to watch PK, and then I got to watch that EEGA, which is The Fly, the Indian Fly. But I'm having trouble finding that online. It's only on Slingbox. Who the fuck is that? Okay, anyway, you can like and subscribe. If you like to subscribe, I'm here every single day, and you can be here as much as you want. It's your choice. I'll probably see Jurassic Park soon, even though I heard it's bad. Okay. All is well, all is well, all is well, all is well, all is well.